Hey everybody, it's Lynn here from A Bit of Birdsong. I'm gonna do a page in the art journal, and I thought that I would just turn the camera on. To do an easy art page, I like to use my G.R.E.A.T formula. It is just something that works for me, and it is an acronym, as you all know. G.R.E.A.T. G is for the ground floor. I have this new to me container of paint, yellow ochre. And I think for the base of this page, or the ground floor, I want to use that. And I want to use white. And you know what? I think I have some white from my last project. So we're just going to use that. And I do want to put a little face on here. So I'm going to leave kind of a large area of just the white. So that we can draw a face in that area. We're experimenting. I kind of like that look, honestly. R is for repeating pattern. And we are going to take some of this burnt umber gouache, and I do have a stencil. We're going to do our best. And I realize gouache is sort of like a watercolor. I'm going to try to get it to act somewhat like a stencil paint. It may end up running some. Oh no, I like that. That turned out fine. And we're just gonna put these randomly on the page, but I don't want to get into this area. Well, that one didn't turn out. There, I like that one. And maybe here, I know it's a lot, but we're just gonna go right down. We're going to go right down the line. Okay, I like that. That's fine. It's messy. I don't think you're supposed to use a watery gouache with a stencil, but you know what? We do what we want to on this channel. E is for ephemera. And for the ephemera, I've got this page from a vintage dictionary, just a pretty image of a flower. And we are going to go ahead and just glue this on the page. And then for the art portion, you can include some sort of artful image, what is representative to you of art. I like to add my own art. I like to draw a face or something. And I think since I have this mess here with the paint, we are going to take one of these 8B pencils, and let's just go ahead and do a little face right in the paint. Do some little eyebrows here. And the eyes. and a little nose and a mouth. Let's do the neck and a little dress here. And then for the hair, I think she needs a couple of really large buns. Now we got to figure out how to get this looking more realistic. And I think what I need to do is dry it a little bit. I've pulled out something I haven't used in a long time, and this is one of these R2 pens from the Dollar Tree, and I think it's gonna work just fine to put some ink on the face. And to go back over it. We're not worried about perfection at all. I am going to try to stay with what we drew. I think it turned out really cute. And let me tell you, one of the things I want to do again with this burnt umber is fill in her hair buns. And we are also going to, right in the middle of these buns, we're going to put some vintage stamps. We're going to put one in this one, and we're going to put one in this one. Now we're still in the art portion of this, but one thing about this formula is that you can duplicate any of the layers. You can move the layers around. They don't have to go in the order that spells the word great. I need to dry this a little bit. Okay, we dried it some, and now the pen is going to do a lot better. And for the eye, sometimes I'll just put some lines like coming out from the pupil. And now, to give her some color in her face, let's get out our tiny little watercolor set and a brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is put some color in her cheeks. And then if I can, I like to try to spread that around. And you know what? So right here, I forgot that I'm using an ink that runs. It's been so long since I used this, and that's okay. I actually really love what it's doing over there. So we're going to try to spread this color without getting into those pen lines, and I think we can do it. And we're going to have to be really careful with the lips. So I have a lot of color on the brush, not much water. I like those pens though because it's a rollerball pen, and it does seem like that ink comes out a lot of times in places where maybe other pens wouldn't work. And I do like that. Okay. And for her dress, so we're at the last letter, which is texture, but I want to come back and add repeating pattern again, which is going to be an ink stamp with some text. And I think that's enough of that. I also don't want this stamp to be just a glaring square. So we're going to come back and maybe cover up a little bit of it with some white paint. And we also don't want this to feel too like, you know, like we did exactly the same thing everywhere. And I think that's probably enough. So I do need to dry that again a little bit. And we're also going to add some white paint over portions of this to make it sort of blend into the page. Two little things here. I'm hoping that without running the paint at all, I can put a little bit of this ochre in her eyes because I love that color for her eye color. That's just amazing. Let's put a little bit up here. And let's come back. With this and do a little bit more there. And for the texture, I really wanted the last step. We're going to take a little bit of this red acrylic paint. Ooh, it's a little bit runny. And I'm going to take my small circle. Yes, I'm going to love this. And let's put a few circles. Maybe we'll put one right there on the edge where that ink ran. And I'm also going to mix it over into the ochre and see if I can pick up any of that color. Yes, I love that. We've got 4. I want to make it an even number, so let's do this. And maybe up here at the very top, let's put just part of one. And then we just need to add the date. And I love the way this turned out. All right, I think Jason and I are going out to dinner, so I'm going to go inside. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. It means everything to me. I just want to add, please remember to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications. I would love to get this channel to 10,000. So if you feel inclined and you would like to share any of the videos on social media, that will help the channel to grow. I have also started turning off some of the mid-roll ads. I did find in my YouTube studio where I can do that. Sometimes it's not so obvious. I found it easier on my phone than I did on my desktop. So if you're inclined to watch the ads at the beginning and the end, that helps. Of course you don't have to. I just love sharing art and inspiration, and I really appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you so much. Bye for now.